Begin, though, this morning with those new developments overnight in the legal battle between former President Trump and the Justice Department over classified documents.
In a late-night court filing, the DOJ argued against Trump's request for a third party to review the materials taken from the former president's home. The department says that a so-called special master would impede an ongoing criminal investigation and endanger national security. The DOJ also provided its clearest indication yet that it believes there was an effort to obstruct the investigation, including concealing or removing highly sensitive government records. We're going to dig into that explosive court filing with NBC News Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley and NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos. Good morning to both of you. Julia, let's start with you. The court filing says the FBI found 100 classified documents at Mar-a-Lago in a matter of hours, more than twice as many as Trump's team had voluntarily turned over earlier this year. What else did we learn?
Well, we learned that they had an awful lot of cooperation about where those documents might be before they even went in. This is really the most definitive rebuttal from the Justice Department to Trump's legal team to date. We're learning way more from this than we ever did from the redacted affidavit that we got last week or from the search warrant that was released shortly after the search. We're learning now about the volume of documents there, the highly classified markings they had, and a possible obstruction case. We got a hint of that obstruction case last week. Now we're told that they think that some of these materials, there were not only so many materials left behind after the lawyers for Trump swore in written statements that they'd handed everything over, but they also believe that some of these materials have been taken from a storage room at Mar-a-Lago and placed elsewhere in order to obstruct the investigation. They also say this is not just a matter of the former president not complying with the Presidential Records Act and not handing everything over to the National Archives. This is really a matter of national security because of the highly sensitive nature of these documents. In fact, it seems that some of these documents could even out sources of human intelligence, people who put themselves in danger around the world to be able to better inform the United States. They believe that's what's at stake here, and they think that if the court appointed a special master, that can not only delay and impede the investigation, but it could be that that person does not have the high level of security clearance that they would need in order to review these documents. They said even FBI agents had to get upgraded in their security clearances to be able to review these highly sensitive documents. So we're learning quite a bit here.
Danny, let's bring you into this conversation, and I want to pick up on what Julia was just saying about this potential obstruction. So that sort of changes things, right? I mean, at first, what she just mentioned about moving those documents, maybe even somewhere else. Also, a Trump representative potentially falsely claimed that all sensitive materials had already been returned. I mean, those seem like some serious allegations. How does that change things?
It is the government's definitive piece on the bad behavior of the Trump team in being asked to return these documents. And then here's a subpoena and they didn't get the documents. And then finally, they had to get a search warrant to get these documents. It is the old adage of you get what you asked for. It couldn't be more true here because the Trump team made this motion for a special master, which gives them questionable benefit, even if it's granted. I don't know how that even really helps the Trump team at this point. But DOJ took the opportunity to not only use the 20 pages they're allowed, but ask for additional pages from the court to essentially hit the Trump team over the head with a figurative folding chair of facts describing all the bad behavior that the Trump team engaged in not giving these documents back. I wondered why they needed those extra pages. They explained why this morning or last night when they explained all the delay tactics used by the Trump team.
I have to keep in mind, this is all coming from the DOJ. This is their argument. Julia, are we hearing it all from Trump and his team, even though this filing came late last night?
Well, we will hear from them today. They have an 8 p.m. deadline to file in this court their rebuttal to what we saw last night. But then we'll see a hearing also tomorrow that's scheduled to go before this judge, who's already hinted. She said she had a preliminary intent to grant the request for a special master in this case. But after seeing this very definitive, I love the figurative folding chair that Danny referred to, after seeing that Will they now be in a tougher position going in? Might the Justice Department have swayed this Trump-appointed judge to maybe rethink not only whether a special master is necessary, but that maybe a special master could be damaging to this case? She's a fairly new judge. Could this be, her big moment, not only to maybe shine, but to actually get something wrong? Would she want to avoid making a misstep here and kind of muddling what's a very high-profile federal investigation?
We've got Danny on set nodding here. Jump in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, for a federal judge, keep in mind the government makes a powerful argument for standing. Now, standing is this jurisdictional argument. It asks basically, what business is this of yours? And the point is that Trump is no longer the president. He doesn't have any interest in these documents anymore. They're not his. And it's quietly one of the most powerful reasons for judges to avoid deciding cases. And by the way, that might be a really good reason for this judge. This is a Trump-appointed judge, probably has political or even higher court aspirations. This is a great reason for her to dismiss without ever dealing with the thorny issues. When a court decides, hey, there's no standing to hear this, hey, it's not my fault. I just don't have jurisdiction to hear this case. It's a great political out for this judge. I think the judge initially was thinking, hey, in an abundance of caution, maybe I'll appoint a special master. Now maybe the judge is saying, ooh, standing. I don't have to deal with any of this. I won't be a Republican villain. I don't have jurisdiction to hear the case. It's a great out. DOJ did a great job pointing that out.
All right, Danny, Julia, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Love the folding chair. Awesome. Thanks, Danny. All right, and now to the passing of one of the most influential figures of the 20th century, Mikhail Gorbachev, the last leader of the Soviet Union and a reformer who helped bring an end to the Cold War, has died at the age of 91. The Gorbachev Foundation confirmed his death came, quote, after a serious and long illness. NBC News senior international correspondent Keir Simmons takes a look back at his life.
By Soviet standards, Mikhail Gorbachev's rule was short, but the last leader of the Soviet Union said his 6 years in power felt like a lifetime. In 1985, the aging members of the Soviet Politburo turned to the 54-year-old Gorbachev to breathe new life into the system. Little did they know the dark-suited bureaucrat with the distinctive birthmark would not only change the Communist Party, but the world.
Let's end the Cold War. Let's end the nuclear confrontation. Let's abolish nuclear weapons. That was revolutionary.
Gorbachev made friends with the Soviet Union's former enemies, none more so than the US President Ronald Reagan. They negotiated a breakthrough nuclear missile treaty and formed a strong bond. That same year, Gorbachev sat down with NBC's Tom Brokaw, a TV first, and Americans were amazed by this open, reassuring Soviet leader and charmed by Raisa, the first Soviet First Lady they'd ever seen. But it was at home where Gorbachev's two big ideas, glasnost or openness and perestroika, economic restructuring, let a genie out of the bottle even he couldn't put back. We could and should have saved the Soviet Union, but we lost politically, he later said. Soviets got more freedom, but nothing to buy. The economy collapsed. While in Eastern Europe, people didn't embrace his reforms, they fled them. But in perhaps his most iconic act, Gorbachev let the Berlin Wall fall, and a year later was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. But back in Moscow, his own colleagues plotted and failed to overthrow him in a three-day coup. When Gorbachev returned from house arrest in the Crimea, he landed in a different world. Russian President Boris Yeltsin was now firmly in charge. Within months, Gorbachev resigned, and the Soviet Union was no more. Years later, he said his main concern was to avoid bloodshed. There could have been civil war in a country saturated with nuclear weapons, he said. He went on to become an international celebrity, making ads for Pizza Hut and Louis Vuitton to fund his foundation. In Russia, few paid attention to his calls for more democracy.
He's a hero to many. The majority of the world, he's a hero. To a minority, he's a villain.
Mikhail Sergeyevich Gorbachev, the man who ended the Cold War, was never forgiven for the demise of his country and died largely reviled by his own people. Keir Simmons, NBC News.
Now let's get a check on your morning news now weather.
Michelle Grossman is with us. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning to you both. And we are looking at a heat wave that is starting in the West Coast, and it's going to last not only today, tomorrow, and through next week. So we're looking at a major weather headline as we go throughout the next week or so. It's going to be historical. It's dangerous, record-breaking. We could break all-time records for the month of September, which starts tomorrow. So taking a look for today, we're looking at 49 million people impacted from the Northwest into the Intermountain West. Also the Southwest, where you see that orange, that is a heat advisory. So that's mainly the Northwest into the Intermountain West. But Southern California under an excessive heat warning. That includes Los Angeles, San Diego, Los Angeles and Sacramento. Places like that could see their hottest days yet this year for 2022. So we're going to be watching this very, very closely as we're looking at today's temperatures into the 90s, into the triple digits. Reno today right near 100 degrees. The record is 100. Palmdale 108, 104 today in Boise. 100 degrees forecasted high in Salt Lake City. The record there is 98. So we're going to break some records today, and we're going to break some records over the next several days. The heat wave will continue into the weekend, the holiday weekend, and then beyond that. Some of these alerts are in place until next Tuesday. Portland, you're hot too. Temperatures in the 90s today, 91 on Friday, 91 on Thursday. Boise into the triple digits Friday and Saturday as well. Look at Sacramento, 105 on Thursday, 104 on Friday, 108 degrees on Saturday. We're typically in the 60s and 70s there, so that is going to be a big story. Now, big contrast in the Northeast. Yes, we're still hot. Yes, we're still looking at temperatures in the 80s, some spots near 90 degrees. But we had that cold front that came through yesterday, brought the showers, brought the storms, but also is wiping out the humidity. So we're going to feel really comfortable by the afternoon. It's still a little sticky this morning, but humidity levels are going down throughout the afternoon hours. This is what's left over from the cold front. You can see parts of New England still seeing some rain this morning, some heavy downpours, especially where you see those brighter colors. Boston, you're clearing out. That's good news, but you did have some rain just a little bit ago. Now, as we go in a little bit closer here, this is going to get hung up here. So it's going to take a little longer to clear northern New England. And then we're looking towards the south because the tail end of this cold front is in the south. And we're looking at more showers and storms. We could see rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour across Texas. We still need rain there in terms of the drought, but we just had so much rain in the past week that they could use a little break there. We could use a little break along the Gulf Coast as well. We could use a little break in the southeast, but we're not going to get that today. We're looking at showers also in the state of Florida, and that's going to continue tomorrow. Spotty showers across the Gulf Coast into the state of Florida, and then more widespread in the state of Texas. We could see 1, 2, even 3 inches of rain in Texas. And we do have a flood watch in portions of southwestern Texas. New Mexico, southeastern New Mexico could see some heavy rain in spots as well. Notice where you see those darker colors right near Abilene. That's where we're expecting the heaviest rain. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. We're going to keep talking about the South and that water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi. A state of emergency is in effect this morning after recent flooding crippled the city's already delicate water system. Nearly 200,000 people in the capital city are without water this morning, and officials say it could take weeks to get the system up and running again. NBC News correspondent Guad Venegas joins us now from just outside the capital in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Guad, good morning.
Joe, good morning. This is the Obie Curtis water treatment plant that provides most of the water for the city of Jackson. It's the plant that failed, triggering this emergency after the flooding. But the people here say they've been dealing with issues for years now. The current boil water notice has been in place for a month. Now, the city manages this plant, and they say they've been needing extra resources for some time. Under the current emergency, the state has stepped in, bringing in their experts to look into the issues and see what they can do to make the repairs and bring the people of the city running water.
This morning in Jackson, Mississippi, residents are already lining up for limited supplies of water. The governor declaring a new state of emergency, calling in the National Guard to help distribute water to 180,000 people.
This is not a situation that's going to be solved immediately, and it's not going to be solved overnight.
If you're lucky enough to get water from the tap, it has to be boiled. Taprice Young says her kids' schools have no water, forcing the district to implement virtual learning this week. It also means showering at a relative's house and spending $100 a week for bottled water.
We've had to boil water to cook, to wash dishes, pretty much to brush our teeth. So it's been hectic.
Football Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, now coaching at Jackson State University, says his players and the other students here need to be supported.
It's the city of Jackson. We don't have water. So right now, we're operating in crisis mode.
And for many more residents, the wait for water could be long.
What's your message to the people that had to leave empty-handed today?
We do have water in the system. We are putting it in the city's distribution system, and over the next 24 to 36 hours, we will see significant numbers of the truckloads of clean water.
As officials do what they can, friends and family are relying on each other. Stephanie Grievler spent $90 on this one grocery run to make sure her elderly parents had water.
It is a complete shame that this is not a new thing. Water challenges have been there for years.
And that's what most of the people we spoke to kept telling us. Now, they tell us we should see more resources today with better distribution at these centers where people can get the water. Meanwhile, President Biden has accepted the emergency declaration, which means more resources from the federal government. FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security will now be involved, helping the state and the city make the necessary repairs here to get that running water for the city, Joe.
All right, they can't get those resources fast enough. Guad Venegas, thank you so much. Now to our NBC News exclusive. We got rare access inside the Pfizer facility that's producing the next generation of COVID boosters, specifically targeting Omicron. NBC News correspondent Stephanie Gosk reports on the preparations for rolling out the shot once it's authorized by the FDA.
Pfizer's been working on the next generation of COVID vaccine for months. It targets the Omicron variant, but it needs FDA authorization, which could come in the coming days.
A new Pfizer COVID vaccine is rolling off the assembly line in Kalamazoo.
The first thing you notice is that the tops of the vials aren't purple.
You notice the color change.
A new color because there is a new target, the Omicron BA4 and BA5 variants. But it still needs FDA authorization, which could come as early as this week.
We have doses ready virtually immediately. So within 24 hours, trucks will leave the facility.
So that could be people this weekend getting shots, potentially.
We are ready to go whenever the approval comes down.
Pfizer's chief global supply officer gave NBC News an exclusive tour of the company's massive production facility.
First thing we want to do is make sure that every element of that vial is to perfection.
Back in June, the FDA asked both Pfizer and Moderna to develop shots targeting BA5, which makes up most of the cases in the U.S.
Well, it's certainly hoped that these new updated vaccines will provide improved protection against serious disease serious enough to require hospitalization.
But because the process was so fast, human trials have not been completed.
Will you run human trials on this one?
Human trials for sure actually are just begun. So absolutely, they're underway.
Health officials point out the annual flu vaccine is not tested on humans. But COVID mutates faster than the flu.
It feels a little bit like whack-a-mole with this virus. How difficult is it to keep pace with how quickly the virus is changing?
And it's a very special disease. We launched the original product in 9 months, and now we're actually converting from variants in 100 days or less.
Experts say this new shot could prevent a serious COVID surge in the coming months.
We have a vast amount of information about the safety of these vaccines and the fact that these vaccines really do provide protection against serious disease.
Pfizer's original vaccine was initially shown to be 95% effective at preventing infection, but over time the potency wore off. Boosters were necessary. Demand has dropped. Just over 108 million people have the first booster. Only 23 million have gotten the second. Even so, Pfizer says it has 30 million doses of this new booster ready to go out the door.
Also in the news this week, Moderna has sued Pfizer, accusing the company of patent infringement over the COVID vaccine. Pfizer says it was surprised by the lawsuit. It says that its vaccine is based on technology its German partner BioNTech developed. Back to you.
All right, Stephanie Gosk, thank you.
For more, we're joined now by NBC News medical contributor and emergency medicine physician, Dr. Uche Blackstock. She's also the CEO of Advancing Health Equity. Dr. Blackstock, thanks so much for joining us this morning. So, as Stephanie just mentioned there, FDA authorization on these updated boosters could come as early as this week. But walk us through how, with a virus like COVID-19 that's changed and evolved into several variants, and there could be more, how much difference will this make?
So good morning, Savannah. Thank you so much for having me. It will definitely make a difference. The question is how much of a difference. The fact is that we have seen in the data that we have so far that this vaccine does a great job targeting BA4 and BA5. We also know that the original vaccine that also is pretty effective against the worst outcomes of COVID-19. We need to see whether this updated vaccine is going to decrease infection, transmission, and improve that efficacy against severe outcomes of COVID-19 even more. And as you mentioned, as was mentioned in the beginning, we don't have a lot of data yet. The data that we do have is from those original clinical trials and on Pfizer's BA1 trial in humans, and then some animal data. So we're going to have to see, and Pfizer and Moderna have both said that they are going to continue to collect data on people who have been receiving this updated booster over the next few months.
I mean, these are the first COVID shots distributed without those human trials. Does that matter, Dr. Blackstock?
So those first human trials are very important in determining safety and efficacy. And so, those human trials are really not that important at this time, given the urgency. We know that these vaccines work. The question is just sort of how well this updated vaccine is going to work. And it is a good sign that Moderna and Pfizer will be collecting that data. So does the FDA need that data to authorize this shot? No, they do not, because we know that based on the animal data that these vaccines do a great job of targeting BA4 and BA5 subvariants.
So if the FDA does authorize this upgraded booster shot, who should get one?
And so that's the question. And so we're going to see what the recommendations of the CDC advisory group is. Some experts have been saying only people who are high risk should get this new updated booster. But I have a feeling that the CDC is going to recommend anyone over 12 who has not been recently infected or boosted should receive this updated booster. And that's someone who hasn't been infected or boosted in the last 6 months, likely. So it remains to be seen, but we should know by the end of the week.
All right. That's something a lot of people are wondering about. Dr. Uche Blackstock, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.